Hi everybody, Mr. Chamberlain here. We're going to work on fire building tonight. This is the Chamberlain fireplace. One of the first things that you have to remember to do when you build an indoor fire is you need to open the damper. I think people use the wrong word. They call this the flue sometimes, but the piece of hardware in there that closes and opens your chimney is called the damper. So we'll test that in just a minute because that's a really important piece of this as well. But I want you to notice I've got fuel in here. I always use split logs. Right now I've got some ash and some birch in here. Notice that those are both split. That gives irregularities on it so the fire has a place to catch. We also have kindling besides fuel. This is all kindling that I split myself. Whenever we have a project around the house, I always save the leftovers so I can split it into some nice kindling. And then your smallest stuff is called tinder. If I was a better woodsman, I'd probably be using birch bark for my tinder, but I tend to save newspapers when they come in the mail every day and throw them here in this little closet by my fireplace so that I'm ready to go anytime I want to have a fire. So you put your tinder in there, you put your kindling across two split logs. And I always try to do it kind of diagonally like that to give more surface area and more space, because the other thing that a fire needs is oxygen. So you want to make sure you're building in lots of space for oxygen. Now the other thing I do is that I then put a third dropper log on the top, with the idea being that the tinder will start on fire first. It will light the kindling. The kindling will then light that first big piece of fuel, which will then drop down in between these other two logs later and make the fire go. So let's make sure we have a draft going through our house. That's the biggest thing you want to make sure you have, so that you don't have smoke in your house. And Elaine is helping with this video. She likes this part because you can kind of watch the smoke get sucked up the chimney. So notice that I start that on fire first. Maybe I rolled that a little too tightly. I can just see my grandfather teaching me to do this. It was a special thing on Christmas Eve or Thanksgiving that one of the grandsons or grandkids would get to light the fire. So notice that the smoke, even if I bring it into the room a little bit, the smoke is actually going right up the chimney. And even if now I tilt this and let a little smoke out of the end of it, maybe you can just see that there's smoke starting to build out of the end of it, but it's getting sucked into the draft right up the chimney because we've got enough draw going in the house right now. So now I can use my makeshift torch to light these newspapers. Sometimes what I do to get things going up is I light it from underneath here as well, or slide it through. And we have started our fire. Hopefully you enjoyed that old-fashioned lesson.